Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Cool. All right. All right. Test, test. Good. Okay. So real quick, I just wanted to put the bulb back in. So show everyone how to get the bulb back in, what you need to make sure to do, things you could fix if something were to happen during the change, and then things to look out for. Yeah, just wanted to make a quick video on that. Anyways, let's see. So far, right now I got the bulb out. I'm putting back, I put back this. That is the chamber. And there's the glass that I put back inside. I cleaned it off with some water and some soap. Let it dry a bit, and then I'm gonna screw this back on. And it has like 3 screws that connect. There's 1 screw, 2 screw, and then a 3rd screw right here. So I'm gonna put this 3rd one back in. And if you need to change the screws, because these get soft and they strip really easily. So what I'll probably do next is get switch them out to like just a standard 3mm one. I've always noticed like the Phillips ones usually strip a little bit easier than like a hex one. So yeah, I'm gonna tighten that in. Good. You can see right here, that's where the bulb's at. You gotta make sure to, like, when you're looking in the bulb inside, you have to line it up with a little slot on there. Because there's a slot in the middle. So what you want to do is you want to line up the bulb to fit into this little, like a little slot. I can do it better. Let me see if I can get my other camera to work. Don't fall, don't fall. Let me drop this down. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, I got my other camera. Boom, 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 boom. So yeah. Come on. Sorry. So right down in there, there's like a little slot. And then you gotta like fit the bulb right into there so it holds it a little bit. Put that down. So now we're just gonna put the bulb in here. There's a brand new bulb. Some people say don't try to be careful and clean it. Make sure you don't put a lot of oils on it. So just try to grab it by the base and try not to get it scratched when you put it inside. All right, so that's in. So we'll leave that here. Don't fall, don't fall. Okay. Important thing to do though is what you want is right here, the sleeve on the old bulb. This is the old one that broke. And you can tell it broke because of I'll show you the bend. Or the break. Kind of see a little bit of a break in there. a little bit of break in there. So that's where the damage occurred. So so this is the old one. What you want to do is you want to make sure to take the sheath off that goes that covers part of it when you connect it to the connector. So grab here, grab a stand too. Okay, so here's what that panel looks like. So you're going to connect the wire to here, but you also want to make sure it's covered. So I'm going to put that like right through there. I'm going to thread it right in there. And you want to connect it just like this. It's a little tight, so I just gotta press it in a little bit harder. There we go. That clicks into there. Then you click into the thermal fuse down here. Just like that. And what you want to do is make sure that that is covered. I'm going to back this in a little bit more. You just want to cover it like that, okay? It looks like that. So cover it up at the top, and then this is a thermal fuse at the bottom. And that's how you kind of install it. And then you got to make sure you put on the black boot. And what's the black boot? It's pretty much this thing. That black boot goes right back onto here. It's basically there just to cover the wires. This kind of aligns the bulb, and it covers the wires as well. And it kind of goes in like that. So that kind of keeps the bulb centered. And then what you want to do next, you want to line it this way. And that bulb goes right back into here. There's like a little holder area. Basically what that does is make sure that the bulb doesn't melt the plastic. Good. Sometimes it gets out of alignment, so you gotta like redo it and make sure it's really in that slot. They used to have a little bit of pressure on there that was able to hold the bulb a little bit, and now it's a little bit more loose at the bulb end, like the slot end of the lamp. So you just gotta land. It's kind of annoying. I like the better one was tighter. And then you kind of just sandwich it in like here. What you don't want to happen is the bulb comes out and contacts the glass. Usually it doesn't happen, but sometimes it does. All right, and then you got to make sure to put back your sight glass at the bottom. So before you start like screwing things back in, you got to make sure that that's in first. So you just lift it up a bit, lift up the middle a little bit, and kind of just slide that in. Yep, the bulb fell again. God damn it. That's really annoying. It was so much better when that it actually was held in. Of course, the boot fell, so I gotta pick up the boot. There. Okay, everything looks good. You don't hear any clinking when you kind of shift it around. You don't want to hear it clink because usually if it's clinking, that means it's touching the glass at the bottom of here. So like there's that little slot. And let's screw this in. I'll kind of show you what it looks like. So here are the three, and I gotta remember to make a diagram of this, but here are the three little screws that you gotta put in to hold this back onto the plastic plate. Because one goes in here. Good. Put the next three in. And then get the last one. Good. All right, and that goes in just like that. Good. All right. So basically, here's what the little sheath is that you pull off with the 3 little screws that here, the 3M, the 3mm ones. So that goes into the bulb. Or the bulb goes right into a little slot right in there. So you just push it in. Oh yeah, it has a little bit of a grip to it. And it kind of goes in like that. There's glass. There's also glass that's in there too, like covering it. I just don't have a glass tube for this one. And then top part of the bulb, you could tell, but it has this like little tent on top. And then yeah, and you know it's in there because it won't clink or flop around at the other end. If it's not in right, it'll be like angled and it'll make all these weird noises. Or if it's in there, you should be able to rotate it but not be able to move it at all. Or if it wasn't right in, it'd look like that. So when it's in correctly, you could do a little twist test, and that's when you know you're in the slot. But if you're not in the slot, you're moving it like that, the bulb's not in all the way. Okay? Okay, so we'll toss this one in the trash. I don't know if there's like a way to recycle them, but we'll toss that one in the trash. Now we're just going to put it all back together, right? So what you need now is, got this part is the bean exit or entrance chute. I want to put that in. Oh, and another big thing. When you pull this out, you're going to pull these wires out right here, right? Don't just like close it in because they're going to get like cut, or you're going to pinch them, or you're going to lose a probe basically. So you got to guide that back in. It's kind of like just slowly guide it in. Push it back in nice and slow. And it should go right in. Oh man. And another thing is if it's off just by a little bit, you need that plate to be flat. So I gotta unscrew it and figure out what's going on. Or maybe... Yeah, there's a big old gap in the middle now. So now I gotta reopen this. There's probably the wires to the lamp that are caught in between. That's causing it to bulge. 1, 2. Yep. Okay. So the wires weren't in correctly. Good. See, now it's flat. This won't really ever be flush. Sometimes it's flush depending on luck, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes it's flush, sometimes it's not. You'll notice that'll be kind of a pain in the ass because the beans will get stuck in there sometimes. But it's not too big of an issue. But I've seen it where there's a little bit of a gap between here and there, between here, this metal part, and the plastic part. But and some don't have gaps. So if you're lucky, you got the one without the gap. That's okay. You can try fixing it to where it flattens it, but sometimes it doesn't work out. These are all pH 1s. I'm using a pH 2. I should be using a pH 1. I shouldn't be. I'm increasing the chance of them stripping these threads. I'm not stripping these, stripping the head of these screws. And these aren't like 3mm ones, so you can't just replace them because they're supposed to be threaded in, I guess. It threads into the plastic. See, now there's no gap here and no gap here, so it remains flat. So that's what you're looking for. So making sure that's somewhat flat. You might have a little bit of a gap, but this part is mostly it, where that's flat up against there. So then push that in. Good. A little trick you could do is you could put this door in and then close it, and I'll actually hold it. See? You could kind of move it around. So right here, grab this metal part, slide that in. Then you get these ones. These are the 6 that go here that hold the plastic piece against the front of the drum, or front of the roaster. So put that in there. Good. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these socket head screws that you got to put in. I think they're 5mm or 5M. And these are all like the only screws I think that are hex, which is weird. Well, not weird. There's just everything is like 4 and 3mm, mostly 4mm. They're also like Phillips, or I think if they spend a little extra money, they could get something a little bit better than Phillips, and they could do like hex. I like hex. Hex usually they don't strip as bad. And this is the only one that uses socket head. Or no, this is no socket head, yeah. Just go around, make it hand tight. You don't have to go crazy tight on it. Actually, when I got one, I opened up right from the manufacturer. That was actually pretty loose, which was a little concerning. All right. Front's on. Let's test out and see if it works. Hopefully it works, and it was just a bad bulb, but sometimes it might be something else. Let me make sure everything in the back is copacetic. And this is still the one with the jump motor. Oh, I probably should select stream. Good. Okay. So back looks good. I'll move this a little bit. Oh shit. That's fine. We'll get that screwdriver later. It'll come out. That's not the first time that's happened. All right, so here's the little controller box that runs the drum motor. And we'll all be carrying the high beam module in. Let's put this in. All right. Oh, I didn't plug that in there. I gotta plug this in. Okay, plugged it in. So I think I moved it forward a bit, but the drum did go on. There it is. Ta-da! Yeah, I dropped that in there. All right, I'm gonna turn it on. Preheat. Good. So I'll show you the. So it looks like the heat is on. What you want to do to test it, you just want to see if it goes to like 70%, that it can go, that you could see it, obviously changing intensity. So, that's 0. And then we'll go to 50. And then go to like 70, 85, 95, 100. Don't do 100. Good. And then here's the little drum motor setup, so you can increase the speed or decrease the speed. Increase, decrease. Yep. So that looks good. I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to button this thing up. I'm going to unplug it. There we go. All right. And that's how you install the lamp. It's okay. It used to be a lot easier, but now it doesn't hold the lamp as well as it used to. So now it makes it all kind of, doesn't hold it as well. So it makes it just a little bit harder than it has to be. But yeah, there's that basic setup. I'll show you the new backpack box. So we're using Coryllis's backpack box, and this has all the stuff for the worm drive motor. So right now it's just kind of click to fit, but it'll be screwed on next time. But it's has magnets in the back. I gotta make this thicker. so that when you put this on, it just goes right here. I also want it thicker because I want to screw in a fan. I want to put a fan like right here. That's where the new heatsink fan will be, because it's like right there. The heatsink's literally, if you look at it, it's just down right in there. And there'll be another one where I'm going to make it to where it's pretty much a guide and you just drill holes in there. Not when it's on, but you take it off and then still drill holes in there, so you're able to basically get to it for those units that don't have this cutout. All the new ones should have this cutout now, I think. All the newer ones, but the older ones don't, so there'll be like another little template you could use to like make holes, and then just use this to kind of slap on and then have the fan be held here to cool it down. So this one's set up for this little PWM module. You also don't need to do this. You could have it set up to just have it run on an ESP32, which I'm gonna have a little mount on it for like probably around here or something. Up top a little bit more, or maybe even like that. So you could run the motor that way. It just takes more code. It's kind of annoying. This one's a little more straightforward, and it works with a stock controller. And I like that option better because it's like $4, and you can use your stock controller, and that's manually set it. Because I don't usually change my RPMs in my drum motor that often, or at all. And yeah, it's just one less thing to worry about, easy to install. And then the code is, I still got to put it in different firmwares, and it's kind of annoying how to put the code in because it's just set up differently with all the new firmwares that are being released. So I don't want to make it like a demand to have to add that drum firmware in when you can just grab one of these for $5 and plug them in pretty easily. But we'll release the firmware with the drum add-in later, whenever. But anyways, that is that with that. We got what? Got 45 more minutes. So I'm gonna tidy this one up later. Tidy it up, and then I actually gotta take this fan out, and because if I turn it on, I'm pretty sure it's really annoying. Let's see what it sounds like. And then I have to plug everything. But I think in the last stream I did, I put the fan on, and it has like a weird noise to it. Like there's something wrong with the motor. But I'm gonna put this back. I'm gonna grab the Q-bean because there's also some other stuff we did with that, and kind of show you how easy it is to install the firmware on there with the new setup. I gotta open up a new section in the GitHub that has the M5 dial option because I really like it, and it's to the point where it's like I feel like it's a way better control than our stock controller for V1, that is. Anyways, all right, here's the Q-beam in all its glory. So a few changes from a standard Q-beam. A few big changes. I took this off, and I'm going to connect it directly. I just took this off for now just because I ran the pins. I actually soldered on an extra pin connector on here so I could connect here to the M5 dial. And what is the M5 dial? It is this thing. That I'm kind of been liking it more as a controller. So essentially what it does, let me hook this up. I still got to clean up the wiring on this, but and try to make a little, I need to find a better way of connecting it because it has some weird PHY 1.2 or 1.5 connector. It's weird. But this essentially connects to here. Good. Just like that. And this is just a 3D printed mount that I designed real quick. But yeah, it's just replacing the other mount where this kind of like, you know, usually tucked to the side, but now I could fold it out. You know, woohoo! And there'll be a release section for the M5 dial because it supports Skywalker and it supports cubing. So, you know, I'm always about having less firmwares out there because it always causes confusion, and just keeping kind of one firmware out there for main releases for people getting into it and who just wants a simple install. But there'll still be other firmwares out there that I'll support because, you know, that's the point of the community, is to have different people helping out with different parts of this project. Anyways, let's take a peek at what the interface looks like. All right. Let me go turn this on. So right here is the kind of like the little move this. How about that? There you go. So there's a little screen. Here's a little pop out of it. So, you know, pops out this way. And then with this firmware, you have the option to choose Skywalker or Cubing. He has this set up too where it could run both on the same firmware, which has been really nice. So we'll choose Cubing. Now with the, you know, why would I want to do this than the other other control panel? Well, now that if you're using the M5 dial, if you do have a Bluetooth disconnect, you still have connection to the roaster. So with that in mind, that means if you do somehow, for any reason that it decides to disconnect, you can control your roaster through here. And it also works as a great way to, like, if it does disconnect and you lose connection and you need to get it back, it connects really fast. Like, say you have some weird Bluetooth hiccup, it'll disconnect, and then, you know, a few seconds you're still roasting at the same settings, and then it can reconnect and you'll be back onto high beam. But yeah, it's been kind of a nice setup. It's really simple though. You can control your drum, turn the cooling from the bottom on. This should be the same settings for here's the cooling part of the beans for the Q bean. And then those are basically the biggest changes. You'll notice it says AP, an access point. So this is not just for high beam, it's also good for Artisan scope. And it connects to Artisan via Wi-Fi WebSocket or something like that. But it just makes an access point, and then you can actually connect it via Wi-Fi and then connect to the roaster directly to either control it that way or to set it up to where it signs onto your network. And then with the IP address of the M5 drum, you would connect it, you know, through Artisan that way. It's a little more complicated, but that's the fun of Artisan. I always think Artisan's a little bit more complicated, but it's just easier to use it on high beam because it does both. It does either Wi-Fi or BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy. So for anybody who wants to get that, it's like I haven't released them out yet because I need to change up a few things. Like I want to have these use heat sets instead of like directly screwing into there because it causes a little bit of issues with the print. Like right there, you can see a little bit of crack caused by screwing it in the spacing of the hole. So I think I'll just use I'll either adjust the hole or I'm gonna use a heat set that you can heat into one, or I'll just release both so people have options. But yeah, now this is all set to use high beam, and you don't have to do it this way too. You can either you can get like our standard ESP32 and the ones that we always use, and you can just go ahead and connect it that way. I don't want to say the old way, but the way we've been doing it before. So we just got to upload the firmwares for that as well. I'm trying to think of anything else anybody be interested with the Q-Bean. But yeah, this is actually my favorite roaster out of all the Skywalker series, just because it's smaller. I could do more test roasting. I don't have to waste that many beans. And I feel like the part quality is a lot higher. It doesn't have like a plastic front face like the V1 does. It actually has a if I can pull it out, it's all metal in the front. So I already think that's a lot better. Like if we were to pull this out, remember how the V1 is all plastic in the front? This is all metal and it looks clean. Like if you compare this to like a small S5's face, yeah, it's way better than the small S5. Well, small S5 is kind of a little janky on some parts, but this because of the metal they use. But yeah, this is like a nice little. I think it's stainless steel. The surface look a lot better, and I just more confidence with the metal instead of all the plastic that's on the V1 and the V2. And the bulb is held right in here. Just a single bulb, 700 watt single bulb. It is a ruby glass. So something about that makes it better for roasting. Something about heat transfer. I haven't really looked into it, but if you look into like ruby coated infrared bulbs, they always specify the efficiency of it heating items compared to like other coated kind of bulbs. There's something about ruby color that transfers heat efficiently. I don't know. I have to look it up. And I still think this, I don't know if it's radiant heat roaster, like radiant dominant, or convection. Just because the bulb is set up out of the drum, which is not really set out of the drum. It's not a drum. It's a 3-prong like agitator. So kind of similar to what the roast uses. It doesn't have like a drum per se, but it has like an agitator that rotates the beans. Kind of like what a drum would do, but it rotates it in there without, yeah, just rotates the beans that way. And that's probably what the biggest model in the Q-Bean. Other than that, Q-Bean runs pretty good. The lower watt bulb has less issues, I think, with things like blown up your circuit. You know, sometimes it'll turn on the surge protector because of how many amps it pulls. I think this pulls far less amps than the V1. And I feel like this is more consistent. Like when I use high beam on it and I do heat tracking and curve replication by events, it follows the curve pretty well, assuming you got all your timing right. But yeah, Q-Bean is probably my most favorite out of the Skywalker ones. Just because of the build quality and the way the only thing I don't like about it doesn't have a trier. And I think I have to fault it on that. Like if this had a trier, I'd be set. So yeah. So I think they're like $300, $350. They're not bad. I mean, $100 extra more dollars, $450 will get you a V1 with 500 grams. But if you want to do testing roasts, or you just want a nice little roaster that doesn't cost like thousands of dollars to do maybe 150 grams to 200 grams, I think this is a pretty solid choice. Minus the control panel is it's a big old dog turd. But this is the new control panel that Bear made. I think we're calling it Ursa. There's also another one. I haven't tested it yet, but we have another bigger one that we haven't tried out yet. So there's the 5M dial that kind of works, and then there's the bigger brother. I think we're going to call this Ursa Minor, and then this is like Ursa Major. Going for a big old Bear theme, but this one would be it's a much bigger dial, and I think Bear put it in the front, which looked awesome. So I got to get his mount for that. But did I upload the firmware? Let's see. I did. Oh shit. Okay, so this is completely different firmware, but yeah. If it'll work. Oh, it does. Cool. Okay, I need the mount. So yeah, just imagine that big boy right here. Although I don't know if it gets too hot over there. I probably would maybe keep it here or keep it magnetized. So I don't know, but that's still pretty cool. I didn't know it was gonna work. I just put the firmware on like a week ago or 5 days ago, and he's still working on that one. This one doesn't have the option to be connected like the Skywalker. He hasn't put that one on there yet, but maybe next time. But yeah, that one did pretty good. I have to tell him that one worked right out the box. 10 18. Let's I don't know. I don't think I have any time. Oh, that's so nice that it just comes in like that. So all the stuff will be uploaded to our GitHub that I share. It's not the JMAR GitHub because I wanted to keep that separate. Updating that would be kind of confusing. Or the new one where it's basically a fork of JMAR's GitHub has all the other stuff, and it's all test and development lab stuff. And my beautiful lab here. Let's see. I didn't check. Yeah, no one right. Oh, I didn't even open up chat. I don't think anyone's talking really. Oh, I didn't even open up. My bad. Someone asked if I was replacing the heat lamp V1 with the more powerful one. Not this one, but I do have a more powerful one here. In case this is a gold fold one. It's not more powerful, but it just redirect. I think the gold foil is supposed to redirect all the infrared rays downwards. That's what they told me. That's why they use the gold foil for. So I don't know. It just gets super hot, and I think it just leads to more tipping and scoring. So I tried it out. Wasn't a fan. Oh yeah, I'll post it. This will be on YouTube. Sorry, gosh, I feel bad. I didn't open up the chat. Yeah, but anyways, if you do run into any issues, feel free to contact me. I mean, I'll let you know. But this is probably like the other video I showed how you take it out, the stream before, and then this video is just putting it back in. And I'll try to make a video where I'll put it together. Did I hit record? Yes. Okay, so I hit record on this one. So I will do my best to try to put them together, but we'll see. Can I think of anything else? Did your bulb go out? California dream. Oh, I get it. I'm stupid. So, did the bulb just go out? That sucks. It won't turn on at all anymore, huh? Oh, okay. Sometimes the QC on the bulbs have been kind of hit or miss. It sucks because like sometimes there's a lot of people who've been having great bulbs that lasted almost a year, and they're running like 350 grams twice a week. Then there's people that they're running their machine for like a month and they'll blow. So yeah, just the bulb wise, it's kind of a crapshoot with the stock ones. people report that you can buy other ones on like Taobao or custom order them. They cost a lot more, but they last a lot longer. And yeah, there's a whole debate on whether we're cooling the bulb properly or things like that. So yeah, there's like little, even if like 220 or the 110 bulbs are the right ones or if this should even be a 220 or a 120 or a 110 bulb, a lamp. There's like debates with that because a lot of people that do 20, they don't report as many problems as the 120 or 110 volt people. Like I almost want to get a 220. Oh, shit. Let me fix this camera. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. What the fuck? There we go. There. Yeah, the bulbs really don't go out. It's not too big of like they don't usually go out too often. But there was a batch of them. I remember like there was like 5 people in 1 month. They all reported they just got it and it had a bad bulb, which usually indicates that's like a QC problem. And the QC quality control issue with the manufacturer has been, I don't know, it's been up or down. I'm glad. Yeah, I mean it's a great roaster. It's just it's not, the quality is not the best, but it roasts really well, I think. And I have like a fleet of roasters now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a bit one too many. That's why I'm thinning the herd. Yeah, but a few things I would recommend if you're starting out is I would have a spare, always have a spare bulb, and then always have a spare drum motor. And they're not really expensive. They're like 14, 15 bucks if you buy it, I think. I don't know if they increases the price because of the tariffs, but like 14 or 15 bucks for extra drum motor. Those are the two big things that usually go out. The fans usually are pretty good. This one just so happens to have a bad fan on my other, the V1 I was working on that I got to repair. But yeah. But you have options to upgrade. So if you want to upgrade the drum motor, I'll be putting out a guide for that. And there'll be a guide for a bunch of other stuff too. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else I can work on. I want to roast with this real quick, but I only have like 30 minutes. I'm gonna roast with this. Okay, that went off. That's good. All right. I'm trying to think what I'm gonna do next. I think I'm gonna just roast some beans in the house. Oh, okay. Oop, I gotta do work stuff. Never mind. I have these beans with they're really small that I want to try roasting, but I'm a little worried they're gonna get caught in a V1 drum because they're really small beans. I have an extra drum here. Sometimes you'll buy pea berries that are like too small, and they'll go right through a drum, and it affects bee more than all other drums with the holes in it. Let's see if I have a drum somewhere now. Okay, well, at least I fixed the one unit. And that one's fixed, that one's fixed. Yes, I'm getting better at this. We'll have 3 units for sale. All right. Anyways, I'll go and this will be uploaded. Let me see if the link should be in here. Streamlabs should have all the links to my streams if you need to go back to review them. But anyways, yeah, that's it for today. I will see y'all later.